Hey guys, it's Kay from KS Anonymous, and I am back today with another episode of r/relationship advice. I'm always worrying on my boyfriend cheating, but he's literally given me no reason to think like this. I've had mental health issues for as long as I can remember. My boyfriend is great and all, but he doesn't speak my love language, and I don't think he cares for it. I get anxious anytime he leaves to hang out with girls because he never tells me beforehand. He just tells me at the time when it's happening, and I get irritated. I know the people he's with, and I also know he wouldn't cheat. He's been cheated on, so I believe he understands the lines. He's not the type to talk about feelings or problems, so I know he's not talking to anyone else about it, and he doesn't care about anyone else's feelings or problems either, so he doesn't emotionally cheat. He doesn't physically see other people or get in a position to cheat, honestly. I don't understand why, but I always feel like he's going to cheat in the back of my mind. But is it my depression that's just making me think all of this? Because I feel like he isn't doing anything wrong, but I can't help but not trust him. Update. I ended up telling him that we should break up because that was the only way to be serious and to get out words that I needed to hear from his mouth. I told him about how bad my mental health issues are and I have problems in trying to deal with them. He cuddled me for a very long time and then I had to go. He started to look into my mental health problems. He seems to text me more frequently when he does his random plans, and I've also just tried to let that. I love this guy, but this is the last chance. If breakup is the only way to hear what I need, then it's pointless. Update. I'm always worrying on my boyfriend cheating when he's literally given me no reason to think like this. I'm not the smartest when it comes to Reddit, so I'm not sure how to link my last post, and I'm also on my phone, so I just wanted to let y'all know. I started to have panic attacks every single time I thought about my boyfriend. I went to the ER a couple times too, freaking out, thinking I was going to die. Even when I tried to break up with him, he made me realize that my crazy thoughts were all one-sided. So I decided to get help. I went to a psychiatrist and got medication for anxiety and sleep. I also went to therapy 2 times a week for the depression, but has now become 1 time a week because he thinks I'm doing better. It's hard. Change is so incredibly hard. Trying to rewire my brain to think positive thoughts instead of the natural negative thoughts is super confusing, but it's helping. My anxiety has almost disappeared with the help of medication and self-affirmation from myself. I still have all of my horrible habits from before, but that takes time to change. My therapist made me realize how important I am to myself, how being your own best friend is actually the best thing in the world. I no longer compare myself to others. I mean, I do, but when I catch myself, I give myself affirmations and the comparing stops. And I no longer feel all of these insecurities. If I do, then I talk myself out of it. I still do get anxiety, feeling insecure and comparing, all of it, but it's controlled now. I can control it. I'm learning to control it. My relationship feels stronger on my side. I finally see the relationship, not the negative thoughts I kept wrapping around it. My boyfriend supports me, and that's all I need. I started to ask my boyfriend all the stupid questions I held back. I started to tell him how I feel more so he can understand. I started to realize the real problems in the relationship, not the ones I created in my head. Life has been a lot clearer, and I realized how much I projected onto others because of all my problems. I had my thoughts control my life for so long, it affected everything in my life. Time heals, but I just needed a little help. I will forgive myself one day, and others will forgive me too one day. But it's my responsibility to make me happy, and I'm so happy I finally understand that. So this one I wanted to include because they had come for the advice previously, it looked like about a month ago, and clearly, just as they were saying, a lot of this was in their head. They were saying, there's no reason I shouldn't feel this way, but I do, and obviously it's causing problems in the relationship, and it was just really nice to hear the follow-up about how they went and they got help, and how that is helping them be okay with themselves, and obviously that in turn impacts their relationship with their significant other. And I think when we hear about people going through similar things that we are going through and getting help and getting better, I think it helps encourage us to do the same. So if you relate to this person who constantly feels these sorts of things that don't necessarily make sense, and they're constantly anxious and constantly thinking these really negative things, it might be worth seeing, a psychiatrist or a psychologist or someone to just kind of help you out, and so you don't have to live your life controlled by those types of thoughts. So I just saw this and I wanted to include that in here because I know that a lot of these can get kind of heavy and difficult, and people listen to these for various reasons, and some people might listen to relate, and I just wanted to include this. I, 27 male, am now the villain in my life story because I don't want to date women with children. I understand what I'm going to say is not popular, and I am getting tons of real-life heat for this. When I was 24, I dated a woman who had a child, toddler age, and while I got along fine with her, the entire dating process was just too much for me. Look, I get that parents have to make their kids the #1 priority. I understand it, and admire those who do. However, I just didn't and don't want to have to adjust every single plan that I make because of it. Multiple dates were canceled, trips were ruined because of some issue with her kid. Now, don't get me wrong, I had no problem with her kid. It's just that I was only 24, and the final straw breaking was we had planned a long weekend together that I paid for, which at the time I was not in a good financial place, so to me it was a lot of money, and at the last minute her sitters were unavailable. If this had been the first time, or even the 4th or 5th time, it would not have been a big deal, but this was not an uncommon issue, so soon after I just told her that I could not continue on this, and yes, I was considered an a-hole then as well. Fast forward to current day, and a new woman has joined our group of friends, and she and I have often talked. To me, it was just talking. I was being friendly because, well, we are all supposed to be friends. Don't get me wrong, she is very attractive and very nice. However, from the beginning, I knew she had kids, plural, so I have intentionally stayed away from any type of flirting or even having long one-on-one time with her. However, she's been asking about me from our friends, wanting to know if I'm single, etc. Once I got wind that she was asking these types of questions about me, I started to try and cut down on the time I spoke with her, not wanting to give her any wrong ideas. However, it was too late. A couple of weeks ago, she hit me up and asked if I would be interested in going out together to get some food. I tried to play it off, saying that we could ask a few of our other friends to join us and have a party. She then said that was not what she had in mind. I told her that it was best if we all just stay friends to keep out complications. I thought that was the end of it because she said okay and seemed fine after that. She started to grill more of her friends about why they thought I wouldn't date her. So one of them asked me, and I was honest about 2 things. One, I said dating in the friends group has caused problems in the past, not me, but 2 other people, and man, was that a crap show. But I also, probably stupidly, said that I just would not date people with children. Well, good God, I might have well just as said that I thought Hitler was a swell guy who had a lot of good ideas. Somehow, the only thing people are focusing on is the second reason and not even acknowledging the first. Virtually every woman in my friends group has read me the Riot Act, and even some of the guys have said that my thinking is unrealistic at our age. I've been labeled a misogynist, and somehow me not wanting to date a woman with children makes me a Trump supporter. I'm not, by the way. I'm at a loss here. I don't feel that my values from a previous bad experience make me a bad person. I freely admit that my one bad experience does not mean that every woman I date will have the same problems. However, if they are any kind of mother at all, they will put their child first, and I'm sorry, I'm just not at a point in my life where I want to plan my life around that. I do not hate kids. In fact, I want my own. I am more than willing to give up plans and fun things for my own family one day, but I just don't want to do it now for people that are not mine. I guess I'm going to have to get new friends, which is not easy to lose so many that I've known so long, but I don't know what else to do here. I guess what I want to know from the faceless internet is, am I wrong here? I don't feel like I am, but maybe I need to hear it from people who don't know me or have a vested interest in either one of us. TLDR, friends group is going ape crap because I don't want to date one of our friends who has children. This is really a sucky situation in my opinion, because from some things I've read before, women with children who are dating know that it's a common deal breaker for people. A lot of times, either A, they'll hide it to figure out if they like someone before they drop that on them, or B, they'll tell them up front because they don't want to waste time with someone who isn't going to be okay with that. This isn't, like, an abnormal thing, I don't think. I don't understand why they're being like that. I'm sorry that they're being that way. And I don't know, maybe you do need a new friend group, and that's just easy to say, you know, as an outsider, and I know it's really difficult to just start making new friends. But if they're all gonna treat you like crap because of that, like, even then, even if you were just like, I don't want to date her, just because I don't, like, why do they feel like they have to make you feel bad for that? That's dumb. I don't know. I'm sorry that's happening to you. My female 28, fiance, male 27, is trying to make our baby, female 3 months, Legend of Zelda themed. I'm not even sure how to best articulate this because it's a ridiculous issue. I've been with my fiance for 3 years, and we had our daughter in March. When we found out we were expecting, my fiance, then boyfriend, became really keen to make the pregnancy Legend of Zelda themed. Other than having a 10-year-old cat named Zelda, he hadn't expressed any interest for the Zelda games prior to finding out about our baby, and this all started when we found out we were pregnant. He set up a pregnancy announcement with video game controllers and a Zelda triangle, completing the Triforce March 2020, to share on social media. He ordered dozens of Zelda-themed baby items online, outfits and toys, and takes so many photos when he dresses her in them to send to his siblings' group chat or on Facebook. He decorated the nursery Zelda-themed. It's mostly very subtle, hills and fireflies, but above her cot is a giant sorry, I can't. But above her cot is a giant vinyl decal of the game logo with a big sword pointing towards her head. Something about that one just gets me. He brought his old Nintendo 64 from his mom and dad's house so he could play old Zelda games with her when she was born. Again, he has not played any of these games in the whole time we have been together. The console wasn't even in our house beforehand. He puts on the games to play while he's getting cuddle time and asks me to take pictures. He doesn't play the games when she's in her cot or I've taken her out in the pram. It's only when he has her on the sofa with him. The Zelda stuff seems to be entirely for her benefit. Edited because it's not for her benefit. She's 3 months old and doesn't know better. It's being done for our friends and family to see. I was dreading Zelda the cat dying before the birth because I suspect her still being in the picture is the only reason our daughter doesn't have that name. She has a non-Legend of Zelda name. I have checked this. Oh my god. The other day, I was scrolling through his Facebook feed, and every single post about her is Zelda-themed somehow, starting from before she was even born. Dozens of photos and homemade memes where she's dressed as Link or Zelda or in a Triforce onesie, or on her seat on the sofa watching him play the old games. Even his version of the Our First Photo Together after her birth has a Zelda reference plastered over it in big bold letters. It's like she's a brand or something? I didn't realize how bad it was until I saw it all collated on his feed, and I felt so embarrassed that he's presenting our baby to the world like she's a prop to show off how much he likes old school video games. I liked video games as a kid too, but I'm not trying to base my daughter's whole public image around it. Again, I can't stress this enough. I don't think he ever once expressed a particular interest in these games before we got pregnant with her. I could sort of make sense of this if it had been his passion the whole time, but it seems to have come from nowhere. Group chats and social media posts are the only way many of our friends and relatives have ever seen her, still in lockdown in the UK. And I can't help but imagine what their impression of our daughter and how we are raising her is from all of this. Is she going to be the Zelda baby? I realize it's harmless fun, but it's also really weird. He is a great dad and so loving and attentive. I'm not sure how or even if I should approach it with him without sounding like an alarmist or a buzzkill. It is ridiculous. It's just really funny to me. I don't know why. Oh my gosh. Okay, so okay, to me it's just really funny. But I understand it's not my kid, so as people have suggested below this post, it is very possible that he's just trying to create fun memories with his daughter, even though, like, she's really not gonna remember them. I think it's also possible, hear me out here, I don't know much about him, but there are some people, such as those on the autism spectrum, who have, like, special interests, who, like, have left those special interests. So it's possible somehow this triggered that again, and he just really went for it. There's also some parents who are really big on themes. This one just might not be as traditional, but the sword pointing toward her head thing, that one just got me. So I feel like maybe if it's bothering you, maybe you should just bring it up. Like, hey, so I noticed these things, and you know, if particularly the one where there's a sword pointing at your baby's head bothers you, you might say something. But otherwise, I think it's pretty harmless. Who cares if she's the Zelda baby, honestly? I don't think it matters that much, but that's just me. I don't know. Anyway, that is going to wrap up today's video. Hopefully you liked it. If you did, go ahead and drop a like and let me know your thoughts about all of these in the comments below. Really quickly, I'd like to thank my patrons. Up on the screen, you should see my face palmers and my crazy K's. Thank you all so much for supporting me in that way. If you're interested in becoming a patron, checking out the original post from today's video, or sending me an email for possible inclusion in a future video, all of that information is in the description box, so be sure to check it out. And I'll talk to you in my next video. Bye! Thank you.